The eighth building block is service measures and metrics. Now, this is one of the most important building blocks because you may have heard the saying, you get what you measure. The first question to ask yourself is, why measure? If you are measuring as a way of making decisions about people's pay, salary, increments, bonuses, or promotions, then you need to measure with great consistency and precision. But if your purpose is to find ways to add value for customers and to focus your service improvement efforts, then simpler measurements can still give you good results. It's important to understand that you can measure many things, but that doesn't mean you must always measure everything. For example, you can measure customer satisfaction, which is different from measuring any of the customer loyalty behaviors. You can measure employee satisfaction, which is also different from measuring employee engagement or retention. You can measure staff improvement, which is often captured by pre- and post-testing. But it is also seen in the 5 levels of evaluation we apply to each of our college courses. You can measure actual service performance, internal or external, using key performance indicators and other metrics to track speed and time, accuracy, mistakes, cost of man-hours, and materials. And you can measure service culture. How well is your organization applying the 12 building blocks of service culture compared to best practice organizations in your industry and around the world? Whatever you measure, when you measure, you should also measure importance as well as performance. For example, your customer may notice you made a big improvement in one area, but might actually prefer or value even a small improvement in another area. You can find this out when you measure what customers notice about your service performance and when you ask them what they feel is most important. Now, some organizations have the ability to measure just about anything, huge mountains of available data, but they only focus on a few things, sometimes called the top 3 or the big 5. Key measures that lead different areas of the company to work more effectively and more closely together. For example, one technology company puts a huge focus on what they call first-time fix. What percentage of the time can someone from their organization fix the customer's problem the first time? They could focus on how long does it take to complete the call, or how much it costs to replace a part. And they do have this data, but their focus across the organization is working together, so no matter how long it takes or how much it costs, the customer experiences a first-time fix. Now, there are 2 final points for you to keep in mind when working with your service measures and metrics. 1, reduce or eliminate non-aligned metrics. Stop generating reports that no one pays attention to or that consume your resources with no obvious benefit for the customer. Just because something has a history or a legacy, and well, it's always been done that way, that alone is not a good enough reason to keep doing it in the future. And number 2, ensure your staff understand the meaning of your measures, the message in your metrics. Help them learn to understand the numbers and see how their actions can make your customers happier and make your numbers better. The 8th building block in the 12 building blocks of service culture is service measures and metrics.